dear Wine Club member, I'm back. So 2021, here we go. Again, I skipped the January month. It was due to some personal health reason, but we're back on February. We skipped March again. I apologize for that, but as my treatment stabilizes, we will be back on a monthly basis here beginning in April. And I thank you for putting up with kind of a little bit of my absence. And I still really appreciate all your support and love everything that you guys are doing to help keep me going. Glad to be back. Now for February, it was interesting because for a moment there, I was almost thinking, I don't know if I can continue, and I didn't know what was happening. Um, but then February came around, I decided to offer wines of comfort. So to me, I started to kind of think about what are the wines that made me comfortable, and that I wanted to drink when I was kind of going through a little bit of that health problem. I know that sounds kind of weird. So I have to cut down a lot on my drinking at the time. And then I go, what are the things I really just want to drink when I'm by myself and when I want to feel good? And that's kind of the basis of my February pick. It's a good old faithful, if that makes sense. But I still wanted to make it slightly geeky, and I wanted in my wine club. I don't want to just to put random bottles together and send it to you. I want there to be a theme every month, something you can compare to. I always wish, if possible, of course, I know it's not always possible, for you to open them side by side because there's a reason that I put them next to each other. Now, for the month of February, I picked two wine that's close to home here in California, and also two wines that I've had for many years that is kind of a solid cornerstone, and it's the non-nonsense, non-snobby wines. Because I know a lot of time as a professional som, because you're so used to tasting many different wines, I feel like our palates kind of seeks out the geekier, the weirder, the more esoteric wine the longer we go, and a lot of time we turn our noses up towards your solid California Cabernet, or just a good home stable. So this month, that's what I wanted to focus on. And I wanted to, again, like I said, make a comparison. So we have one from Napa, one from Sonoma. One is 100% Cabernet, and the other one is a Bordeaux blend. But both a really amazing winemaker. The Lancaster is your bigger, more well-known. I'm sure if you look hard, if you look around, you will see them in other wine shop. And on this side, the Bjorn, which is a very tiny boutique winemaker that only have 2 hectares of land that makes about 200 cases roughly every year that you never sing anywhere. So just a lot of great combination, but I kind of want to show you the range, that it doesn't really matter if you're small wine producer or a huge kind of a bigger producer. They're not like super big commercial, but Lancaster is significantly bigger than Bjorn. Different varietal from different sides of the valley, they can all make amazing wine. So I'm going to start with Bjorn. Bjorn, if you have been following me, you have probably seen him fairly regularly. I fell in love with this wine when I tasted about 7 years ago, I think, for the first time. I definitely judged the wine by its label at first because it's, again, very simple label, and it's bright yellow. It just says Bjorn, and I go, it's another Napa Cap again, right? Doing the something, turning my nose up, thinking, whatever, how special can it be? But I was very impressed with what he offers as far as the quality versus the price point. So his wine is consistently around $80-$85 per bottle, but the quality of the wine that's in the bottle can easily make this a $150 bottle worth of wine. And then through the years, I have multiple times put this wine in blind tasting with other California Cabernet up to $250 per bottle. Really famous, big name, you name it. And every time I did a blind tasting, this wine comes on top. So a huge fan. The wine, though, I do say usually takes at least about 4 years, in my opinions, on average, so 2 years after they release it, to really kind of come into a sweet spot. I have just finished drinking but I have just drank a bottle of their 16, so now it's been about 4 years, and it's just drinking absolutely beautifully. The 17, however, still needs a little more time, but I think that's what's really sexy about this winemaker. He is trained in France, believe it or not, to begin with, and his winemaking is a little bit different than the whole hey pop it and drink it style. His wine just needs just a little bit of time, and once you just give it 2 more years after you release, it drinks absolutely amazing. The tannins and oak, everything just kind of blends in very well together. And of course, the appellation is Hall Mountain, so you got that really broad shoulder, really big, satisfying, savory, tannicky black fruit dustiness. Like it's just a lot in a bottle, but very just straight, hands down, good California Cab. Yeah, just can't get enough of it. Huge fan. And again, they only make 200 cases, so it's really hard to find. Now, now for the 17, you get a little more of that brighter, juicier red fruit and slightly better of acidity on the side of your mouth. So in my opinion, the 17 will probably be able to age even longer if you let it, if you want to and wait. Okay, now we're gonna go into the Lancaster. The Lancaster, they actually have quite a few different labels. I think their most popular one will be their Alexander Cabernet. I've actually seen it at Costco at a certain point, and the price point I think might be a little lower on their Cabernet. But this is their Winemaker's Cuvée, which is their Bordeaux blend, where they put the best every vintage together, make that best kind of cuvee, because that's the sexy part about doing a Bordeaux blend. When you have different varietal in a given vintage, different varietal can perform differently, and you get a chance to pick and mix together whatever will make the best wine. So that's essentially what a winemaker's cuvée is. And very different from Cab, because 100% Cabernet is very single-minded, very driven, very sharp and straightforward. But when you have a Bordeaux blend, in this vintage, they did a 68% Cab, 28% Merlot, 2% Cab Franc, little Malbec, and a little Petit Verdot to make up the rest. And just so you know, a little touch of a Petit Verdot will go a long way. So the wine is very different because you're looking for a synergy, kind of something that's really well blend together, very mellow, very easy drinking, really smooth on the edges, where in the Cabernet is kind of that single-minded, very driven, very big personality and style. So amazing contrast. And of course, you also have your Napa, which is generally known to be bigger, bolder. And then you have your Sonoma, which is usually, again, known to be a little bit softer and a little bit milder, a little bit higher in acid. And you can totally see it when you drink this side by side. Absolutely amazing. And my personal thing is I love eating steak. If you can't tell, a lot of my wine pairing gears towards steak. For a big California Napa Cabernet like this, I will eat it with like a ribeye or a New York cut, dry age, whatever have you. But with like a Bordeaux blend, the Lancaster, this one, which is a little bit more mellow, a little more well-rounded, I like to eat it with something that's a little bit milder, like a filet mignon or a pine rib. So these were things that kind of kept me confident and kept me happy, I think, through the hard times. And I want to share some of my like my cornerstone of the wines I drink on a daily level with you, and I think they provide amazing value for the price point that they offer, and I think they offer amazing value for the price point. So I really hope you enjoy them as much as I do, and I'll see you for our April Wine Club. Thank you. Bye.